Captain Andrews. It's him, the bomber. He's on line 4.
Is the tracer on?
Oh, yes. We'll be tapping the whole call.
Good. I'll keep on the phone as long as possible. Captain Andrews speaking.
Good afternoon, Captain Andrews. Can you guess why I'm calling?
Well, I hope you're calling to tell me that you're going to stop this senseless destruction before somebody gets hurt.
Senseless? You dare call what I've been doing senseless? Well, maybe when you hear what I'm going to blow up next, you won't call it senseless anymore.
Oh, what is it you're going to blow up next?
A locker room at the airport.
Listen, my promise to you still holds. Give yourself up, and we'll do everything we can to help you. In fact, I'll get you the finest psychiatrist in the state.
I don't need a psychiatrist. What I need is a good fuse man.
That was too fast to trace the call.
But did you hear that loudspeaker in the background?
Yes, you're right. It said Flight 44 now boarding for St. Louis, Kansas City, and Los Angeles.
All right, call the airport and let me know what airlines have those flights leaving at this time.
Yes, sir. They're checking it out now, sir.
But why? Why would anyone want to blow up a locker room at an airport?
Maybe he's bluffing this time.
No, I don't think he's bluffing, because every time he calls, he's made good his threats.
Captain Andrews' office. Yeah. I've got it. Statewide Airways has a Flight 44 leaving Terminal 5 in 10 minutes.
Higginbottom, alert the bomb squad. Have all the units converge on Terminal 5 immediately, and I want the whole area evacuated and cordoned off.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and Higginbottom, you don't happen to know which one of our units happen to be close to that area at this moment, do you?
Oh, yes. That's car 8312, Detectives Crook and Robinson.
Oh.
Since when does the police department need a fortune teller to help us break a case?
Adolf Zinser isn't a fortune teller, George. He happens to be a psychic, and there is a difference.
Psychics use ESP.
We know that.
That's extrasensory perception.
Well, I don't care what he uses. The bombing is a police matter, and it should be handled by the police.
Well, obviously, the mayor doesn't feel that way, George. With the whole city in an uproar over these bombings, I don't think we're in any position to fight his decision.
Actually, this Zinser is pretty good, George. I've been following his career, and his record is phenomenal.
Oh, yes. In his entire career of predicting things, Adolf Zinser has been wrong only once.
When was that?
When he predicted that on the morning of December 7th, 1941, the Japanese would bomb Pittsburgh.
And even then, he had the right date.
But he was 5,000 miles off. How could a guy be crazy enough to think that fighter planes could take off from a carrier in the Pacific and make it all the way to Pittsburgh?
He also predicted that they would refuel in Kansas City.
And this is the guy that's going to help us solve a case.
Actually, Mr. Zinser is far more accurate when it comes to crime.
Zinser's really unbelievable, George. You can take him to a house where a murder was committed years ago, don't tell him anything, and he'll solve it. How? He'll feel it. He senses it. He gets these vibrations. That's the way he works.
He also works by touch. You can give him an object, let him touch it, and he will tell you who the object belongs to and anything you want to know about that person.
Just by touching it?
Oh, yes.
As far as I'm concerned, he is still a fortune teller.
George, the bomber's been terrorizing this city for 4 months now. Now, if Mr. Zinser can crack this case, find the bomber, I don't care if he uses a Ouija board. Zinser's arriving at Flight 101 in an hour. I want you two to meet him at the airport, and I don't want either one of you to give him any static.
I don't seem to be getting any vibrations. Now, wait a minute. I'm getting it. 12. I sense the number 12.
Your hand is on the calendar, and it's the 12th day of the month.
Oh. Well, at least I had the number right.
Captain, it's him. He's on line 4.
It's the bomber.
Excellent. You keep him talking as long as you can, and from the vibrations, I will be able to tell where he's calling from.
Captain Andrews speaking.
Good afternoon, Captain Andrews.
Good afternoon. I'm glad you called. I have a proposal to offer you.
And what is that?
I'll agree to meet you, and I promise to come alone any place you select.
I'm not interested in meeting you, Captain. I merely called to inform you of my next target.
Listen, give yourself up. It's only a matter of time before we find you.
You tell your Mr. Zinser that if he thinks he can find me, he better move fast. Because by this afternoon, he'll be dead.
What do you mean?
Hey, hang on! Oh, that's too bad, because I was really beginning to get vibrations.
He's not too far from here.
You know what he said? He said that he was going to kill you, that you're going to be dead by this afternoon.
Good, good.
Didn't you hear what the captain said? The bomber's threatening to blow you up.
Naturally. That means I represent a threat to him. I'm on his mind. If I can stay on his mind long enough, that will lead me to him.
Well, you better work fast. You only have a couple of hours.
Now, I know he called from a public phone. If I can be driven around the city immediately, I know I can find that phone.
Crook, Robinson, you take Mr. Zinser in your car and get going.
Just a moment, Captain. The bomber never bluffs. When he makes a threat, he always carries it out, right?
Right.
Well, if Mr. Zinser is going to get blown up and we're with him, the chances are that we'll get blown up, too.
What are you trying to tell me?
I like the day off.
I understand how you feel, Crook, but all you have to do is stay close to Mr. Zinser, keep your eyes open, and the bomber will never harm him. Besides, somebody's got to drive him.
Well, that's true. Higginbottom, you drive?
Oh, yes. But you'll have to come with me.
Why me?
I only have a learner's permit.
All right, let's go, George. Come along, Mr. Zinser.
Well, men, you did a very good job in capturing the bomber.
Well, I really have to take back what I said about that Zinser. Without him, I don't know when we would have cracked this case.
Yes, that is a miraculous gift that Zinser has.
You know, I remember reading somewhere that everybody has a little ESP in them, but they're not aware of it, so they just never bother to use it.
I don't believe that.
I do. I feel I have some ESP in me.
Okay. Go ahead and predict something.
All right, let's see. I predict that before we leave this office, Captain Andrews will yell at me.
Well, don't play safe. Now, pick something else.
No, I mean it. I can feel it. I can feel the vibrations. Captain Andrews is going to yell at me within the next few minutes.
That's ridiculous. I wouldn't yell at you without a reason.
Oh, yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't. Anytime I've yelled at you, I've been justified.
Not all of the time.
Well, at least most of the time.
Some of the time.
All of the time.
Plenty of times you've yelled at me without reason.
That's not true! Now, you know damn well I've never yelled at you without justification. In fact, I've never lost my temper or yelled at you without some kind of provocation.
Told you.
Captain, this just came in on the teletype. I thought you'd like to see it. It's about Adolf Zinser.
What happened, Higginbottom?
15 minutes after Zinser's plane took off for Warsaw, Zinser started to experience a strange feeling. He reported this to the stewardess. She immediately notified the pilot.
What kind of a disturbed feeling?
He started to feel that when the plane landed, the weather would be balmy, hot, and in the 90s.
So what's wrong with that?
Are you kidding? It's below zero this time of the year in Poland. Boy, was Zinser off.
On the contrary, George, Zinser hit it right on the head. When the plane landed, the weather was warm, balmy, and temperature in the 90s.
In Warsaw?
In Havana. The plane was hijacked.